Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Savita from Maharaja Agrisan University, Badi, Himachal Pradesh. Today, we are going to talk on module Market and Market Structure under the paper Managerial Economics. After completing this module, the student will be able to understand the concept of market and market structure, classification of market and market structure, market classification and cross elasticity of demand, concept of revenue, relationship between AR and MR. Market in general means a particular place or locality where goods are sold and purchased. But in economics, the term market doesn't include particular any place or locality in which goods are bought or sold. The notion of exacting of the market locality or geographical place is not necessary to the concept of market. What is necessary for the market to exist is the contact between buyers and sellers so that the transaction of goods and services at a given price can take place between them. The seller and buyer may be separate over an entire region, sometimes in different countries, but they can contact and communicate and can exchange commodities. The function of a market is to enable the exchange of goods and services. In general, a market is defined as a group of people and firms which are in interaction which are in interaction with another for the purpose of buying and selling of products or services. The main feature of market is that seller and buyer should be able to get in close contact with each other. Now, we classify the market. The determination of prices of commodities depends upon the type of market structure in which they are produced. There are various markets prevailing in an economy, that is perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic market and oligopoly. Monopoly, monopolistic competition and oligopoly are generally grouped under imperfect competition, since these three markets differ in respect to the degree of imperfections in the market. Most common basis of classifying market structures depends upon two crucial elements. These are the number of firms producing a product and the nature of product produced by firms may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. The price elasticity of demand for a firm's product depends upon the number of competitive firms producing the similar product as well as degree of substitution which is possible between the product of a firm and other products produced by a competitive firm. Following are the basis for classification of market. Classification by geographical area. Geographical classification of markets based on the separate of buyers and sellers such as local, regional, national and international markets. Classification by volume of business. According to this classification, markets can be classified into wholesale and retail markets. Classification by nature of transactions. Based on the nature of transactions, markets can be classified as spot market or future market. Classifications by regulations. According to the government stipulations and regulations, markets can be classified into regulated and unregulated markets. Classification by status. Based on the intermediation with buyers and sellers, markets can be classified into primary, secondary, and terminal markets. Classification on the basis of market structure. It is the most important base for classifying markets and takes into consideration the four components of market, that is sellers, buyers, products, and conditions of entry and exit. Classification on the basis of time. According to time, markets can be classified as very short period, long period, and very long period markets. Classification of market structures. Markets are conventionally classified into four types, namely perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. The classification of market structures based on the four principal components of market and the number of decision variables have been presented in a tabular form as follows. Types of market: perfect competition. Nature of product: homogeneous for all forms. Number of sellers are large. Number of buyers are also large. Free entry or free exit. Price uniform, and decision variables is output. Now, monopoly. Monopoly has unique product without close substitution. There is one seller, large number of buyers. Entry is not easy. It means entry barriers. Price is very high. Decision variables, both price and output are under control, but decision can be taken about one of them. Discriminating monopoly. Unique product, number of sellers 1, number of buyers large, entry barriers high, and discrimination in prices. Next type is monopolistic competition. Nature of product is product differentiation but close substitute. Number of buyers large, number of sellers large. Product differentiation act as entry barrier higher than perfect competition but lower than monopolistic, and decision variables are price, nature, and extent of product differentiation. Oligopoly may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Sellers few, buyers large. Product differentiation act as entry barrier and prices low. Price, product differentiation, and selling expenses. Duopoly may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. 2. Large, product differentiation act as entry barrier. High, price, product differentiation, and selling expenses. Now, we explain below each form of market category. Now, we classify the market structures, that is perfect competition. It is characterized by large number of buyers and sellers of an essentially identical product. Individual buyers and sellers are only price takers, note makers. At the ruling price, a firm can sell any quantity. The number of sellers is deemed to be so large and the amount of sales done by each so small in relation to the market that none of the seller taken by him is able to influence the price by his own individual action of expanding or withholding its produce. Again, here the number of buyers is thought to be large enough to prevent any one buyer from affecting the price in the market by his own action of purchasing more or less, and the purchases made by any one of the buyers are small as compared with the purchase of all the buyers in the market. All the sellers in the market have a perfectly similar product to offer, that is, the product offered by each of the producer is in every way the same from time viewpoint of the buyer. The seller's product are similar in color, shape, design, and service, so that no one of the buyers has reason to be attached to any one of the seller. There is no effect of any kind whatever to prejudice buyer's mind in favor of their product. There is free entry or exit of firms. It means any firm from outside the industry must be able to enter the industry without any obligation, and any firm working in the industry must be free to go out of it and when the firm likes. The four conditions given above have been introduced in the market to ensure that an individual seller is a price taker. Single seller can neither raise his price above that of the market nor can afford to lower it. If a seller raises his price above that prevailing in the market, he loses all of his customer. On the other hand, he has no incentive to lower his price since he can sell the whole of his production at the going price. If no one seller or buyer can influence the price, then how is the price determined? It is not determined by individuals. It is a result of the industry demand and supply. Market supply and demand interact to determine price, and individual take it as a given. Monopoly. Monopoly is the opposite of competition. Pure monopoly is the opposite of pure perfect competition. In such a market, there is only one seller of the product, the sole controller of the supply of the product in the market. The seller produces a commodity for which it is difficult to find a substitute. The firm constitutes the industry. The demand for output of this one firm is at once demand for the total industry. A pure monopolist is one who can charge any price he likes by restricting his output. Whatever the price he decides to charge, total expenditure on his product done by purchasers remain the same. In other words, the elasticity of demand for the product of the firm is unitary. Monopolistic competition. It involves many sellers selling differentiated products and many buyers. These products are close, although not exact substitutes, and there is high cross elasticity of demand between the products. There may be difference in quality, style, color, size, packing, trade names, brands, types of service, location of stores, containers, and many other considerations that may give rise to a spirit of attachment of buyers to particular sellers. All the firms producing the closely related competing goods compose one industry. Examples are articles of clothing, barefoot, toilet articles, and many other articles generally sold in retail stores. Oligopoly. It is that market situation in which the market for a commodity is dominated by a few firms, each of which is producing and selling a considerable proportion of the total output sold in the market. When there are two sellers in the market structure is called duopoly. It is just a special case of oligopoly. Each firm is so large relative to the size of the market that by its own individual action, it can affect market price. Changes by it in the output sold or price charged do not go unnoticed by its rivals. Therefore, in shaping its price policy, each firm must take into consideration the reactions of the few honor producers and also his possible reaction to their reaction. Market classification and cross elasticity of demand. This concept of cross elasticity of demand has been used to measure the amount any kind of competition among firms and therefore for classifying market structures. In perfect competition, the cross elasticity of demand for the product of a single firm with respect to a change in price of the rest of the industry will be infinite. It means the proportionate fall in the demand for the product of a single firm will be infinitely large compared with any given proportionate fall in the price of the product of the whole industry. In monopolistic competition, the cross elasticity of demand for the product of a single firm with respect to a change in the price of other products made in the monopolistic group will be very high. The cross elasticity of demand for a product of a monopolistic with respect to a fall in the price of other products in the economy will be very low. In nutshell, we can say that in perfect competition, cross elasticity of demand is infinite. In monopoly, cross elasticity of demand is very low or zero, and in case of monopolistic competition, cross elasticity of demand is very high. But this concept of cross elasticity of demand as a measure of classifying market structure is very much inadequate and sometimes leads to erroneous Conclusions. The main objection is that it causes neglect of the two basic elements of market structure, that is, the degree of attachment or detachment of substitution among products and the number of firms in the relevant group or industry, and these two concepts are fundamental to an understanding of market structure. It has been further pointed out by many economists that cross elasticity of demand of any perfectly competitive firm instead of being infinity is zero, and in case of monopoly it is also zero. So cross elasticity of demand in two market situations, that is in pure competition or in pure monopoly, which are opposite to each other, found to be the same. Therefore, it is observed that the market classification on the basis of elasticity of demand is not satisfactory. The basis of classification of market should be on the number of firms in the industry and on the nature of the product, that is, attachment or detachment of substitutes. Now, we discuss the concept of revenue. The firm has to play the dual role of the producer and a seller. As a producer, it tends to minimize the cost of producing output, but how much is to be produced is decided by the conditions that prevail in its product market and the sale proceed it expect to earn from the produce and costs that it has incurred. The equilibrium output is that which gives it the maximum profit. So, the sale proceed that a firm gets from the sale of its product is called revenue. Total revenue a firm earns calculated by multiplying the total sale by the price at which the product is sold. Average revenue is total revenue divided by output. It means divided by production. It is nothing but the sale price of the product. Total revenue is equal to price into output. Average revenue is equal to the price or total revenue divided by total output. Marginal revenue is the addition made to the total revenue by the sale of an additional unit of the product in the market. Marginal revenue is equal to total revenue of n units minus total revenue of n minus 1 units. As the firm sells more of its production in the market, it expects adding to its sale proceeds. So, a firm is expected to sell more only when it adds to its total revenue. In other words, marginal revenue ordinarily goes on falling as more is sold. Ultimately, a state is reached whereas the firm goes on selling more and more, the market is saturated with an output and marginal revenue is reduced to zero, that is, no addition to total revenue. The relationship between average revenue and marginal revenue. A cost curve in different market forms remains the same, but revenue curves changes with the change in the form of market. The relationship of AR and MR can be studied in different market forms such as perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. Revenue curves under perfect competition, one market and one price, is the golden rule of perfectly competitive market. In perfect competition, all firms are price taker and price is settled by an industry with the forces of demand and supply. So, one price prevails in the market. So, in perfectly competitive market, price is equal to AR and MR. Under perfect competition, both AR and MR will be parallel to OX axis as it is seen in the figure. In this figure, output and revenue is taken on OX axis and OY axis respectively. AR and MR are equal to each other and are parallel to OX axis. At OP price, a firm can sell any amount of goods. Revenue curves under monopoly. Monopoly is a market where one seller and large number of buyers. Under monopoly market, both AR and MR curves slopes downward, but MR lies below AR. In this figure, output and revenue all measured on OX axis and OY axis respectively. MR lies below AR, perpendicular drawn from any point of AR on OY axis will be divided into two equal parts by MR curve. AR and MR slopes downward because under monopoly, a producer has one option with him. Either he can sell more quantity of output at lesser prices, or he can charge high price but is bound to sell less quantity of output. MR also slopes downward and the rate of fall of MR will be greater than AR. Revenue curves under monopolistic competition. AR and MR curves under monopolistic competition slope downward but have less slope because in monopolistic competition each producer charges different price of his product than the price charged by other producers. AR and MR are more elastic as each product has its close substitutes. Both AR and MR are more elastic than AR and MR under monopoly market. Comparison of both AR and MR as shown in a figure, revenue curves under oligopoly. Oligopoly is a situation of market where few sellers are selling homogeneous or differentiated products. In this market, there is a competition among few sellers and AR will be kinked curve as it is shown in the figure. Output and revenue is measured in O-axis and OY-axis. AR has a kink at point K. The demand curve is a combination of two demand curves. First portion of DD up to point K is more and the lower portion of DD after point K is less elastic when a producer changes price of his product, then he assumes that other firms are not changing prices of their products. This portion is up to K from point K onward. When a producer changes price of his product, it is assumed that other producer will also change prices of their products. When all firms lower price of their products, then sale will not increase at any single firm. There will be a very small increase in the sales of all firms. Both these portion forms a kink on AR at point K. MR curve become discontinuous at AB level of quantity sold. AB portion of MR, which lies below point K, represents discontinuity. First portion of MR, which is below the more elastic portion of AR, is positive. This shows that when a firm lower the price, then its total revenue will increase. Below the point B, portion of MR, which is below less elastic part of AR, signifies that at lower price level there will not be any increase in total revenue. Gap of MR from point A to B emerged due to sudden change in AR from more to less elastic position. Significance of the concept of revenue. The importance of the concept of revenue are as under: firm's equilibrium. A producer is able to know the position of equilibrium of his firm with the help of revenue curves. When MR is greater than MC, a producer can increase the size of output to get more revenue. The basic aim of each producer is to get maximum profits. When MR is less than MC, firm will get loss and firm will be in equilibrium when both MC and MR are equal. This is a position of break-even point. Departure from this position will give firm more profit and in backward direction gives loss to firm. Estimates of profit and loss. A firm can also calculate profit and loss by making use of revenue curves. A firm will earn supernormal profits when TR is more than TC or AR is greater than AC. A firm will earn normal profits when TR is equal to TC or AR is equal to AC. A firm will earn loss when TR less than TC or AR less than AC. Change in price. Firm is also able to know whether it can earn profit by lowering or increasing the price of products. In case of elastic demand, when increases by lowering the price, the firm can earn profits. When TR increases by raising the price in case of inelastic demand, then it will raise the price. When there is no change in TR either by lowering or increasing the price, then firm will not lower or raise the price of its products. Knowledge about full or under capacity production. Revenue curves are also helpful to know whether firm is producing output by using full or under capacity of its production. If AR is tangent to AC at its minimum point, then firm is using its full capacity to produce goods or output. But in case of monopoly, the monopolistic competition firm possesses excess capacity. So students, let's now summarize what we have learned in this module. Market structure describes the competitive environment in the market for any good or service. A market consists of all firms and individuals willing and able to buy and sell a particular product. This includes firms and individuals currently engaged in buying and selling a particular product, as well as potential entrants. There are four types of markets: perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. Market structures determines a firm's power to fix the price of its product a great deal. The degree of competition determines a firm's degree of freedom in determining the price of its product. Thank you.